Sure.
You want to start, Colin? All right.
Absolutely.
So, I have not done a lot of tarot reading before. Oh, that's okay. I can work with that. So, the book that I've been teaching myself from is Alejandro Jodorowsky and Marianne Costa's The Way of Tarot, the spiritual teacher in the cards. Yes. Yeah.
So we're getting
filmmaker.
Jodorowsky's tarot reading here?
Yes. He helped design this deck, and he did all of the writing, and Marianne Costa turned it into something comprehensible as a book, because I'm pretty sure it was just a really experienced old man rambling before, from what I'm getting between the lines. So I have only actually read the first couple of sections of this book. I haven't read the part where it's supposed to teach you how to do the tarot readings themselves, because this is a very large book, and it goes through like the deck as a whole, and then it goes through like all of the major arcana, and then it goes through like all of the minor arcana, and then it goes into pairs, and then it goes into reading. I've made it to the pairs part and kind of stalled out because it's a big book. So I've kind of made up my own reading. This is the world. And Jodorowsky's way of doing this kind of teaches you to look at the deck as a whole as through the lens of the world. So I'm going to be doing a reading that does that as well. The four corners of the world card represent the four suits. You've got the he describes it as the flesh-colored animal, which makes me really uncomfortable. But that represents pentacles, which is the earthly set, the your money, your physical needs, that kind of stuff. And then there is the lion, which represents wands, which is your sexual and creative needs. You've got the angel, which represents cups, which is your emotional needs. And the eagle, which represents swords, which is action, your external, the way that you interact with the world. And then you've got the world herself there in the center. So I'm going to do a reading with four corners and then cards in the center. And the four corners will be those four elements of your life, and then cards in the center for you in general. If you want to keep any sort of specific question in mind, feel free to, but I'm mostly going to lay this out as like sort of a general, if the cards or the universe have a message to give you. Bit of a disclaimer, I don't really think that the tarot is some sort of magical sacred text that is inherently communicating with us. I think the tarot is a very cleverly designed tool that layers so many potential meanings that you can just kind of pick and choose whatever you want in order to give yourself permission to get a message through your own intuition.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what the symbolism on the cards means to me. You are also free to read anything you want to into the symbolism on the cards, and together we will draw whatever meaning this is for funsies. I am not proclaiming anything important about your life. If there are people in the audience who take the tarot more seriously as a form of magic, I apologize if I say anything offensive. I don't mean it that way. That's just not how I relate with this. So, usually, Colin, I would want you to either do a little bit of shuffling or a cut, but we can't really do that. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut it a couple of times. Tell me how many times to cut.
I'm going to say cut it thrice.
All right. 1, 2, and 3. So, I'm going to lay out the two cards. Wait, this is the two cards for your pentacles. These are your wealth, physical needs, basic survival.
Okay.
2 cards For your wands, sexual and creative fulfillment. 2 cards for your cups, emotional fulfillment. 2 cards for your swords, your action in the world. And 3 cards for the past, the present, and the future of you.
Ooh.
So, we're going to start over here. We have the Hermit and the Cavalier of Swords.
Okay.
So the Hermit is, I'm actually going to go on a little bit of a digression here. The Hermit makes me disagree with Mr. Hodorovsky. He states that the Hermit is walking backwards. I don't see anything that indicates that the Hermit is walking, much less backwards. But Mr. Hodorovsky thinks that the tarot is actually, to some degree, a sacred text, and that it is hypocritical to interpret any of its symbolism in a manner that is more about what you want it to say than the symbols itself. And yet, he thinks the Hermit is walking backwards because that's necessary for the way that he interprets the relationship between the cards with their directionality. So, this is probably not what the deck is trying to tell you, but the Hermit, to me, brings a little bit of contention into it. The actual symbolism of the Hermit is that he is the mastery of something. He has so much knowledge and understanding, he is ready to step out of the world. He hasn't done it quite yet, but he is, he's not presented as having any active teaching going on. He doesn't have any students. He's on his card all alone, but he is holding up a light to guide others. So he is a little bit of a transitional phase. Not having committed to stepping beyond the world into whatever comes next past what you've mastered, but being on the cusp of that. He is sort of the end of a split. Hodorovsky wants you to interpret the major arcana as falling into 2 groups of 10, with the Fool set aside as the beginning that has not begun, and the World set aside as representative of the whole rather than part of the cycle. So splitting it that way puts the Hermit at the end of one of the sets of 10. He is the culmination. He has not moved beyond yet. You will move beyond him into the second set of major arcana once you have completed the mastery. He represents achieving it, but not having moved on. So he can be a transitional phase, or he can be stagnation. If you hit the Hermit and then do not continue to move past him, then he can represent that you have stalled out. His light is partially covered. There can be a bit of an urge to say, I have achieved everything. I'm good. I'm done. I don't want to do the scary thing of admitting that there's more.
Yeah.
The Knight of Swords paired with the Hermit. The Knights are the way that the book tells me to lay out the faces of the minor arcanas. It goes the page, then the queen, then the king, then the knight. The knight is actually the one who has so fully mastered his element that he's ready to move beyond it. Much like the Hermit, except he's not so much on the cusp. He is the one who is already going. He is the one who is out in the world. He is using his sword to interact with the environment in a much more mobile and active way than any of the other faces. So I would say that the Hermit and the Cavalier of Swords together indicate that whatever it is that you have reached your full mastery of, you are not stagnating on it. You are ready to move on. So if there's anything in financial realms or your career, your anything that you've been working on with the basics of your life that you feel like you've kind of hit what you needed and you're ready to take the next step on something, I think that would be an indication that, yeah, you're ready to take the next step.
That is very spot on for my career right now.
All right, glad to hear it. So next up is going to be the Wand Quadrant. This is your sexual agency, but also creative fulfillment. So we're going to focus more on creativity. If anything resonates in your sex life, you can feel free to interpret that on your own.
Will do.
All right, so We've got, okay, so we've got the One of Swords. The way that Hodorovsky tells us to interpret things, the one stands apart, just like with the major arcana, you split the top and the bottom apart. This is a nascent beginning, something that is full of potential but has not begun yet. And same with the Fool. The Fool is maximum potential and zero execution. So once again, there is the potential danger of becoming stagnant at this phase. This is something in its earliest phases, something that is all possibilities because nothing has been committed to yet. So because you got double that information, I would say that something in your creative life is ready to begin. You have all of the choices ahead of you. You have all of the potential. You have everything you need. You just need to be sure not to get scared to start. And then we have your emotional fulfillment. We have another Cavalier. The Cavalier of Cups in the Cups would probably be a pretty strong sign that you are emotionally fulfilled. You are ready. You are stable. You have all the support that you need. You are ready to offer all of the empathy and energy that you want to anyone else in the world. You don't have to protect yourself. You can balance your cup on one hand as you ride on a horse. You're not shielding anything or hiding anything. You've got everything you need. And then
A little pony.
The Five of Swords, the way that they do the swords always confuses me. Let me double check that I am not going to give you the wrong meaning. Sevens, fives, fives. I swear I can count. Yeah, that's the Five of Swords, and it's been presented upside down here. The point should be going up. So that means that, in my interpretation, you're going to end up a little bit more on the negative side of its meaning. So it's more of a warning to you. So the Five of Swords is telling you to lean into something really idealistic and optimistic. It's about so you set the ones and the tens aside, and then you count everything else going back and forth. The even numbers are stable, the odd numbers are active. So the stable ones carry the risk of stagnation, the active ones carry the risk of action that does not fulfill the way you want it to. So the five would be, you are at a point where you've got the earthly parts of whatever this is that you're going to take agency in the world on, and you are ready to move into the upper quadrant, which is more to do with the heavenly and the intellectual. But because it's upside down, I think it's telling you more of, you're fully fulfilled, you're fully ready, you've got your emotions, but where you try to project that out into the world, you're at a little bit of a risk here. Be careful not to take action for action's sake. Make sure you know what you're doing before you commit to something.
Very good.
And then up here,
also
your
welcome
swords.
readers.
Oh, hi people. I'm just talking a lot right now. All right, we've got the Chariot and the King of Cups, who's upside down right now. Let me refresh myself on the Chariot real quick so that, again, I don't say something that is
Do you want to move this to the
misremembered.
middle so we can see the art?
Yes. Sorry about that.
The art on these is very nice.
Yeah, so this deck is a effort combined between a member of the Camois family who owns the patent or something. They're in charge of distribution of the Marseille Tarot deck, and working together with Hodorovsky, a member of the Camois family, and Hodorovsky spent years studying to return the tarot as far back in time as they could take it, getting all of the colors and the artistic details as close to the original tarot, because Podorowski has reasons he thinks the Marseille is the original. I'm not sure how much they hold water, but the idea was to get as close to whatever the people who designed tarot in the first place designed as possible. Okay, so the tarot is kind of triumphant, and having him in your swords with one of the cups kind of implies that that's about success. He can sometimes be seen as like someone in a position of authority. He's wearing a crown, holding a scepter, he's a prince, but he can also be seen as like the male half of a romantic pairing, more specifically than some of the other male cards are. He's a young man. He's a young man who's out showing off his wealth. He's trying to dominate and control his environment. And paired with the King of Cups, so the progression of the face cards is that the page is just beginning to understand his element. The Queen understands her element to a point where she's kind of locked in on that and cutting out other things. The King understands his element to the point where he's ready to look at other things, but he hasn't really moved yet. He's still sitting on his throne. The Knight is the one who has gone out into the world. So the King here is telling me that you are at a point of emotional fulfillment, but because he's upside down, I think he's more on his warning side than his more positive side. So this would also be telling you, if you've got something in the world with your emotional fulfillment and your stability that you're thinking of turning into action, be cautious, but don't let yourself hold back too much. The Cups was kind of telling you, in my interpretation, that you need to be careful not to take action just for action's sake. But I feel like this combination is telling you that you also need to be careful not to allow yourself to be paralyzed by overthinking. So whatever it is with your emotions that you're ready to project out into the world, don't be afraid to take action, but don't take action just for action's sake.
Very good.
Sorry, I have like 6 lamps on. I am getting a little warm in here. And now we're ready for the last 3, the ones that will be about you in general. So this is going to be your past. And that is, let me double check, that is the wands. The wands and the swords are very hard for me to tell apart. I love this art, it's beautiful, but it's a little representational.
Yeah.
No, that's the swords. The wands are straight, the swords curve. That's the 8 of swords. I can count and tell apart sticks and blades. Yes, that is the 8 of swords. So, okay, your past is connected to the Buddhist ideal of emptiness.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So in the pattern where the hermit represents total mastery and therefore readiness to step beyond, that's also the position that 8 holds in the smaller arcanas. 9 is taking that action and ready to step beyond. 8 is the stable point. You are comfortable. You have what you need, but you have the risk of stagnating there. So your past is, you've mastered all things earthly and all things heavenly, but you're not quite ready to move on and accept that the universe is bigger. You're kind of just chilling, resting on your laurels. That's in your past.
Okay.
Stability, acceptance, control, but risk of stagnation. This is your present. That is also swords, because they're straight, I can tell. And this is the 4. So this is saying that your past represented a point of kind of having reached as much as you needed to, but not being ready to move on and grasp for higher. The 4 represents a very similar point, but for more of the, you haven't quite reached the heavenly, emotional, and intellectual understanding. You have mastered the earthly. you've got your emotional creativity and your money and survival needs down, but you haven't really gotten into the less defined, more ephemeral things. So sitting at a point
Okay.
of mastery of your creative fulfillment, your money, your earthly stuff, and being ready to move on, but you haven't hit the 5, which is moving on. You're sitting at a point of stability. There's a risk of stagnation, but there's also strength and comfort there.
Yes.
And then you are just full of swords tonight, Colin. I'm sorry.
Oh my.
The 10 of Swords.
Actually, not something you want.
No.
So the 10 of Swords is that step beyond. It's the top before you start getting into the face cards. It is the thing beyond the Hermit. You are moving on to higher and more. These are all swords, so these are all relating specifically to your intellectual agency, the way you interact with the world outside. And so the 10 of Swords says that you're going to go from having had your fulfillment of both realms in the past, stability but not movement, fulfillment having focused back on the physical realm for a while, again into stability but not movement. Despite being another even number, the 10 stands apart. The 10 is not about stability, the 10 is about having gone beyond. So your future is whatever it is that you've been getting yourself all stable and ready for, you're ready to step beyond. This was weirdly consistent.
Yeah, I would say so. This is so what's very interesting to me and how much this aligns with another semi-spiritual esque thing. My mother recently went to see a medium just for funsies, and they're like, Colin's got some changes coming up. It's like, oh god. So this sounds like the universe is telling me very important things.
The audience did point out something. I messed up a little bit. You've got swords in your past, wands in your present, and swords again in your future. So
okay.
You were on your intellectual level full and stable and ready, both earthly and heavenly. Creative fulfillment wise, you were back to the earthly, and then you're ready for intellectual out into the world, stepping forward. And thank you, Map. I realize I am talking in a really awkward position where I'm horribly lit and peeking around things. I got the box and did not test it, but you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you. All right. I am happy to do more tarot readings later, but for right now, I have been talking a whole bunch, and I'm going to let my voice rest a little bit.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me do a reading for you, Colin.
Yeah, I love that.